And you're watching live coverage of the opening bell this Thursday, October 17th. An exciting day today, a day that Wall Street had been waiting for. Finally an agreement in Washington, D.C. and ringing the bell at the podium this morning. Springleaf up there celebrating their IPO. And good morning, everyone. Live from New York, I'm Dan Kleffler at the floor of the New York Stock Exchange. Stocks pulled back slightly today after soaring close to their highest level in history. The Dow, in fact, up 206 points yesterday after a deal was reached on the debt ceiling in Washington, D.C. The president signing a bill approved by the Senate and the House shortly after midnight last night. That agreement will reopen the government, but only until January 15th. It'll prevent default, but only until February 7th. Now, this, of course, seen by many as a step forward, but the question is, are we out of the woods yet? So to shed some light on that question and some other business headlines this Thursday morning, I want to bring in Jeff Mackey from Yahoo Finance. Mr. Mackey, good morning to you, sir.
Good morning. Quite a thrill to be down there on the floor, isn't it?
I'm down here with your brothers down here, Jeff. Where are you at?
I don't know. I'm missing out. I missed that place. It's great down there. High energy, fun place.
It is a lot of energy, a lot of Red Bull going on down here. All right, so listen, I'm going to talk to business a little bit. The S&P saying that this shutdown cost taxpayers $24 billion, but that's not even the half of that, right?
Yeah, it's not even close. Here's the problem, is that throughout this shutdown, the uncertainty caused orders to slow. It caused people not to hire, caused businesses right there on the bleeding edge. We heard bad things from IBM yesterday, but I'm talking about 3.6 million small retailers out there. Their business was impacted in a way you can't quantify. So 24 billion, sure, it's as good an estimate as any, but it understates the problem dramatically.
All right, let's take a look at what the Dow is at right now. It's at 15,234, down about 139 points, and that's all coming off of yesterday's big gains. You know, the thing is, obviously there was chaos in Washington. We didn't see much mayhem in the markets, though. I mean, today maybe might be seeing some response to that, though.
Well, we're having to focus on corporate news. IBM's a big Dow component. They had bad sales last night. The default is taking on kind of a Police Academy 6 stale odor to it. We've seen this so many times, and for them to kick it back to now January and February, we're going to see it all over again. I think there's just fatigue in the markets, and participants are just kind of trying to look past DC entirely.
So the new normal, is that essentially what you're saying?
Unfortunately, it's never really normal. The new bizarre, we're just accustomed to it.
All right, we'll couch you with that adjective. Hey, talk to me a little about consumer confidence. You think all this back and forth, all this arguing in Washington, negative impact on spending during the holiday season?
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And here's the thing, we saw consumer confidence drop week over week, according to a Gallup poll, as much as it's dropped since Lehman Brothers failed, which was just a seminal moment in American history. And so confidence might be a little slow to rebuild here. We're in high margin holiday season. Halloween's already been blown up, which might sound like kind of a bad thing, but there are huge profits there. Again, it remains to be seen if the consumer's going to come back fast enough to make this a good Christmas, but we've done some damage to the economy. There's no question about it.
Well, let me ask you about that, because I know you were talking about the fact that this is not the new normal, but it is the new whatever you want to call this. So the president's saying that this is not going to happen again, that this shutdown is not going to happen. But what is the reaction? I mean, what is Wall Street thinking about this? Is it, in fact, just sort of this cyclical behavior?
You're down there. It's a fairly cynical lot down there. It'll happen again. I doubt just like this, because we didn't really accomplish very much. But they'll put a different spin on it, and I think everyone expects it to happen again. I mean, we have a committee writing brand new rules by this supposed deadline. Near as I can recall, that's kind of what happened in August 2011, isn't it? We kicked everything to a committee and created a cliff and a deficit, and so it'll happen again. It was Otto von Bismarck in 1890 who said politics or laws are like sausage, you don't want to see them being made. This is just an ugly process. It's how things work.
All right, let me ask you this one, Jeff, because it's obviously the devil's in the details. What exactly, as far as raising the debt ceiling, because a lot of folks are wondering, did we actually raise this, or did we simply suspend or delay it?
Well, you know, it's potato, potato. We kind of raised it, and we kind of just allowed, we extended our ability to borrow, which is a semantic way of saying we can borrow more, which is saying we raise the debt ceiling, but no one concedes defeat if you phrase it in the way that they have. We just allowed business to continue as normal until sometime in January, and then with a follow-on deadline in February. I'm trying to be positive. You know, hey, this is just what happened. There's not really a good spin on it. Not even the politicians are able to say there was a victory achieved here. We really scared the nation a lot, and we kind of pushed everything back until after Christmas.
Okay, so maybe not a victory, but anything accomplished, lessons learned, anything we can pull out of this, glean, anything positive?
It stumped the Band-Aid. I mean, I think that there's just a prevailing cynicism out there. Hopefully it'll calm down and cooler heads will prevail. before we go through and shut these things down again. It's no way to run a railroad, as Bill Clinton said about this event. We can't just keep shutting things down. Hopefully all the tub thumping and noise and the fact that it didn't change any of the rules or laws out there will mean that next time around we can just go about doing business behind closed doors instead of this pass the mic between senators and congressmen. So I don't know if we've learned a great deal. You know, the world does go on, the sky remains aloft, and the government is kind of a bunch of crazies that we elected. So, you know, things go on.
The unvarnished opinion of Jeff Mackey. Mr. Mackey, thank you. Before we let you go, one last look at the Dow before we leave you. It is at 15,254, down about 119 points this Thursday morning. Jeff Mackey from Yahoo Finance, thank you, sir.
Thank you. Enjoy the floor.
Thank you, sir. You've been watching the Opening Bell Report on ABC News Digital. I'm Dan Pleffler in New York.